Welcome back to Night Tales. Tonight's story was submitted by a listener who wishes to remain anonymous. They say that home is where we feel safest, but after hearing this, you might find yourself double-checking your locks tonight. This happened 3 years ago, and the narrator is still afraid of the dark. I live alone in a small, renovated farmhouse on the edge of a quiet town in Ohio. It's the kind of place where neighbors are half a mile apart, and the only sound at night is the wind hitting the tall grass. I've always been a heavy sleeper, but on the night of November 14th, something felt off. I woke up at exactly 3:03 a.m. There was no noise, no crash, just a cold shiver running down my spine. My bedroom is on the second floor, and from my bed, I can see the top of the staircase through the cracked open door. I checked my phone. I had a notification from my smart doorbell camera. It read, "Motion detected at front door, 2:58 a.m." My heart began to thud against my ribs. I opened the app to view the footage. The video showed a tall man wearing a heavy, oversized coat and a wide-brimmed hat. He wasn't trying to break in. He was just standing there. He stood perfectly still for 3 minutes, staring directly into the camera lens. Then he slowly leaned forward and whispered something. I turned my volume all the way up. It sounded like he said, "I know you're awake." Panic hit me like a physical weight. I lived miles from anyone. I immediately grabbed my phone to call 911, but then I heard it. Creak. It was the third step of my staircase, the one that always moans when you step on it. He was inside. I realized with a jolt of horror that I had left the basement window slightly open that afternoon to let out the smell of fresh paint. My bedroom door was still cracked open. I could see the darkness of the hallway. I didn't have a weapon. I crawled out of bed as silently as possible and hid in the gap between my wardrobe and the wall. I held my breath until my lungs burned. Slowly, the bedroom door pushed open. In the dim moonlight, I saw a shadow enter the room. He was taller than I imagined. He didn't head for my jewelry or my laptop. He walked straight to the side of my bed. He stood there, looking down at the empty sheets where I had been sleeping just moments ago. He reached out a gloved hand and gently stroked the pillow. Then he sat down on the edge of the bed. He just sat there in total silence for what felt like hours. I could hear his heavy, rhythmic breathing. I had my phone in my hand, but I was too terrified to even dim the screen to text for help, fearing the light would give me away. Suddenly, his head snapped toward the wardrobe where I was hiding. He didn't move, but I knew he was looking at me. "I can smell your fear," he whispered. At that exact moment, a car's headlights swept across the bedroom wall. It was a local patrol car. My neighbor, who was a deputy, was coming home late. The intruder stood up instantly. He didn't run. He walked calmly out of the room. I heard his boots clicking down the stairs, and then the heavy thud of the basement door. When the police arrived 10 minutes later, he was gone, but they found something that still haunts me. On the kitchen table, he had laid out 3 items he found in my house: a kitchen knife, a roll of duct tape from my garage, and a single Polaroid photo he had taken of me sleeping 3 nights prior. I moved out the next week. The man was never caught. Every night before I go to sleep in my new apartment, I check the Ring camera, and every night I wonder if I'll see that wide-brimmed hat again. Stay safe out there, and remember, if you feel like you're being watched, you probably are. Good night.